A Matter of Attitude, a reflection for the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time. We might find it helpful to refer to the author of the first reading in today's liturgy as Ben Sira, and the name of the book as Sirach, to avoid confusion between its alternate designation Ecclesiasticus and the book of Ecclesiastes, another gem of the wisdom tradition. A sage and scribe, Ben Sira lived in Jerusalem in the latter part of the Old Testament period, writing the text between 200 and 175 BCE. Untouched by electricity or technology, our Hebrew ancestors in faith lived their lives from a different perspective. People who suffered illness or severe loss communicated this by relating the social dimensions. Not knowing of germs, viruses, or replacement hips, they understood misfortune to be caused not by what, but by whom. An enemy or demon might get the blame, but both the harm and the plea for its healing landed squarely at the feet of the Lord God. Who else could be counted on to hear the cry of the poor? In biblical parlance, poverty has implications beyond economic lack, pointing to abandonment or breakdown of the human relationships meant to keep the individual anchored in community. Those without family ties, orphans, widows, blind or incapacitated persons, and prisoners are considered truly poor. With no one else to help, they cry to the Lord, and their persistent prayer pierces the clouds. The refrain of Psalm 34 echoes this emphasis on the prayer of the powerless, who sing praise rooted in the experience of utter dependence upon God. Considered as a whole, Psalm 34 is an acrostic. Each verse begins with a successive letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Acrostic composition helped our ancestors in faith learn and pray psalms by heart. Though undetectable in our English translation, our awareness of this form relaxes our expectation for a strictly logical progression. That said, Psalm 34 flows rather smoothly from thought to thought, a considerable accomplishment for a psalm composed under the acrostic discipline. The verses selected for today, 2, 3, 17, 18, 19, and 23, begin with an announcement by the psalmist. I will bless the Lord at all times. The lowly will hear me and be glad. Whatever comes after will be good news for the lowly, the humble, the poor ones who seek the Lord in their need. This sets up an important connection with the first reading from Sirach. The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. And today's gospel, whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. In prayer, attitude matters. Verses 17-18 of Psalm 34 bear this out. The Lord confronts the evildoers, erasing even the memory of them. In contrast, when the just cry out, the Lord hears them and rescues them from distress. In the first case, the Lord must confront. Evildoers seek nothing from him. In the second, the just cry out in their distress, expressing their need for God's help. You see, the materially poor have an easier time recognizing their dependence upon God. Thus we hear, "Blessed are you who are poor," in Luke's version of the Beatitudes, while Matthew's version opens the door for the rest of humanity with, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." In today's gospel, we eavesdrop on two prayers, neither lacking in material wealth. The Pharisee's prayer to himself delivers an account of his exceptional conduct and piety, as if to remind the Lord that he truly deserves his good fortune. The tax collector stands back, beats his breast, and cries out for mercy. His prayer pierces the clouds, and he is drawn back into right relationship with God. Thus, Psalm 34:19 rings true. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and those who are crushed in spirit he saves.